Welcome to this regular meeting of the Montoursville Area School District Board of Directors on this Tuesday, August 9th, 2022 at 7 p.m. And at this time, I would ask our secretary to call the roll.
Mr. Albert.
Here.
Mr. Badgers, absent this evening. Dr. Beery. Here. Dr. LaCrone.
Here.
Dr. Mathers. Here. Mr. Schimmel.
Here.
Mr. Snell.
Here.
Mr. Ulmer.
Here.
And Mr. Young.
Here. Okay, at this time I'd invite everyone to rise and join me in the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point, we'll move on to item 1B on recognitions and presentations. Does the student rep, I guess you're next, but we can roll that into 1B if you'd like. Anything, administration, any recognitions or presentations? All right, we'll move right on to you.
So during the last 2 weeks, starting about last Monday, the 2022 band camp has started. About 96 students have participated. We've been getting very, very tan. So it goes from about 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and we've been working on our show out in Memorial Stadium. We will be having a show this Thursday at 11:30, I believe, out in Memorial Stadium. It is free for anyone who wants to attend. Our show is called We Built This Band on Rock and Roll. We are playing some songs by Kiss, Led Zeppelin, all marching band style. Kind of thinking what else I was told to say. That's really all I can remember in this moment. Students have been dedicating 2 weeks of their summer break, so we've been doing really good so far.
Good. Very good. All right, with that then we'll move on to the reading of the minutes. Now there's a number of items here we'll deal with. We have a supplemental agenda and a couple other items, but first let's take care of the reading of the minutes from the regular meeting of July 12th, and I'll note that on, let's see, that was 7/21, July 21, we had an executive session for purposes of personnel and safety and security, and then this evening we had an executive session prior to this meeting for purposes of personnel. So with that, the meeting minutes from the 21st.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Was there no amendments or corrections? Okay, hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. This time then, let's move to the approval of a supplemental agenda that we received yesterday afternoon for items P11 and P12 and personnel. And I would ask for a motion to approve that supplemental agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's have it. All right, moving then along to the prior presentation, we have with us Pastor Larry Leland from Faith United. Good to see you, Pastor.
Good to be here, thank you. I come to you tonight as the proud son of a paraprofessional working with middle school learning support students in York, as the proud husband of a 4th grade teacher in the Lewisburg School District, and as the proud dad of a rising freshman here at Montoursville High School who's also a part of the marching band. But I'm also here tonight because I'm a member of the Montoursville Ministerium, which is simply the pastors of the various congregations who over the last many years have been a part of school board meetings, inviting us to remember our purpose and to invite us to prayer. So if you're comfortable, I just invite you to join me in an attitude of prayer. Gracious God, we come to you at the beginning of a new school year with many feelings, expectations, fears, and hopes. Help us, whatever our circumstances, to remember that we have the comforting assurance from you, I will always be with you. For all of us, loving God, this is a time of transition. For many, it is a transition from the work and leisure of summer back to the classroom. It is a transition from time spent with family and friends. And we ask that you would give us all patience with ourselves as well as with one another during these transitions. And for some of us, we know, faithful God, that this is a totally new season. For some, starting a brand new school year in a new place. We pray that you would turn any anxiety that those folks might have into the quiet confidence in the way that you have blessed them in the past. Give each and every one of us perspective to see persons, events, and the work of the board, the administration, the faculty, the staff, the paraprofessionals, the support staff, and even the students, all as an invitation to develop the gifts that you have given us to be in service to our world. We thank you, God, for the gifts that you give us, the gifts of awe and wonder, the gifts of open hearts and changed minds, the gift of the opportunities that lie ahead in this new school year. And we pray that wherever we might find ourselves on the journey, that you might give each of us who are a part of this Montoursville community the gifts of wisdom, understanding, judgment, courage, knowledge, reverence, awe, and wonder. Amen.
Pastor?
Mr. President, real quick.
Yes.
Pastor Leland, before he sits down. I know the board would hopefully like a chance to thank Pastor Leland and the congregation of faith. Once again, last week we had a kindergarten camp, and you got to give Pastor Larry a lot of credit because he deserves that credit, because we went to him years and years ago with this idea how to help kindergartners transition. And initially they started as kind of a partial partner, then they took it on as part of their mission to really help the district provide that service, take that stressor financially off the district so we could help the children transition into kindergarten. So, and again, he took it from kind of just a kind of a sort of fundraising campaign with the congregation donations to it's part of their budget now. And you know, Pastor Jake passed that along when Pastor Lee went to his post and he came back, but he deserves the credit. And I thought that for those who don't know on the board, deserves our appreciation and the entire congregation as well. So thank you again, Pastor Larry.
Okay, we'll move on now to the public comment section of the evening, and we invite the public to come forward and speak to us about any matters of concern, any matters of deliberation tonight, any past official action. Give you a 3-minute unpaused time frame, unpaused 3 minutes, and tell us who you are and where you live.
Did you say it's public comment now?
It is, Jack.
All right, thank you. Jack Callahan, Arch Street, Montoursville. I brought some things in from the past. What I brought in the picture of the prom, 1957. I recognize Bobby George and Hambone Dawson and some of the other people that I asked somebody and they knew who it was. And when you see this picture, there it's in the old gymnasium, and they had that's where they used to have proms. Well, I say in my day, in their day, and so on. And it was more than adequate in that. Then I brought in, this is blue and gold and the commencement number for 1932. Does anybody know what 1932 is? Anybody? What is it? Well, that's the first year of the new school here. You understand that? The new school that disappeared. And that was it. So I got these up at Cookie Weaver's house. And I don't know if any of you know Cookie. She's dead now. But she was probably, if she wasn't the best, she was one of the top people that ever graduated from this school. And she has credentials in that. Well, this is the commencement book, or commencement they had. And it's really something. I mean, for back then, I mean, that's, compared to what you got now, I mean, it's similar in what they have in there. And they have class advisors was George Leiter, who the principal is named after, and Mrs. Rose Bauer. Class officers were Thomas Sunday, Clay Weaver, Bob Valora, and Don Lundy. And just to look at some of these pictures in here of the faculty, they only had, I think, maybe 8 or 9 faculty members, and possibly they only had 50-some graduates, but I'll be around after the meeting to, if anybody wants to look at this or listen to what, I have to say, or look at the ads or whatever. Then I got 2 pictures here. I got a picture of Elvis Presley and I got a picture of James Dean. And if anybody wanted any pictures made, I could probably get them made. And these were the icons back in the day, in the 50s and whatever. So I got them. That's a different picture of Elvis. I never saw it before, but yeah, I'd like for some people to look at this and the format. And most of the people that graduate were either commercial students or academic students, mostly academic. Maybe they didn't have much back there, and but I knew a couple of these people. I knew Clay Weaver. That was Cookie's dad. And I knew some of the other ones, and I recognized the names of some of the principals and teachers and stuff in that. And so I'll be around after the meeting, and I don't know if any of you would know any of these people in the prom, but that's the prom picture right there.
Could you pass it around, or is it
Huh?
could we pass it around, or is it too fragile then?
It's kind of too fragile, but they can come on up and look at it, and just to see how many of these people were having a good time. There's probably at least 75 people there or more, maybe. This was 2 classes, the junior, senior prom banquet, they called it, May 17, 1957, and there's an autograph of Mike Rhodes there. He was a good wrestler and football player. All right, so I'll bring these up after the meeting.
Thanks, Jack.
Yep.
Pamela Nelson, 225 Bennett Street. On the agenda, I see a note about, I think it was Lackawanna Community College. So just before you vote on it, is that replacing like Cumming or Penn College, or addition to it, or I'd just like to hear some discussion as to what that is before it's just a yes or no. I'd like to hear some details on that. Thank you.
Seeing no one else approaching the podium, we'll move on now. And before we do, actually, I wanted to do just an update for the community on the district's look and study and evaluation on security. We have a number of things going on in that regard. The board's continuing to review this safety and security, where we'll be awaiting the results of a risk and vulnerability study that the Pennsylvania State Police perform on our facilities. That could very well, that would likely play into any elementary project that would be taken on. We also will be having some, stakeholder communication in the near future. Starting off first next month with the district's communication committee, we'll be meeting with the board in a private session on safety and security. Then we'll be reaching out to the district through the, I still call it the parent portal, the message board, but the communication method that we used for some of the COVID polling. We'll be sending out to that distribution list some polling questions regarding safety and security, and just to seek some feedback there. We'll have, we're thinking in terms of having a specific meeting for parent and guardians to just receive feedback, just to hear the thoughts of folks on their perceptions on safety and security, and what they believe should be done or doesn't need done even. And then we'll also do the same thing on a district-wide taxpayer, all residents feedback session to hear what the community is saying, about safety and security in our schools. So it's going to take time. It's going to be over several months, at least a few months. So expect to hear some more communication on that. Okay, with that then, let's move on now to the business manager's report.
You've received copies of the treasurer's reports for the period ending June 30th, 2022, and July 31st, 2022, for the general fund and cafeteria fund. We are submitting these to the board for your consideration of approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
There's no budgetary transfers. You've received copies of the listing of invoices for the general fund and cafeteria fund for the period ending July 12th, 2022 and August 9th, 2022. We are submitting these to the board for your consideration of approval and payment.
Move to approve.
Second.
Questions?
Yes, I have a few. The first one is check number 63115 for a Ford van. My first question is this one of the Ford Transit vans? Or is it a regular van similar to the ones that we already have?
It's similar to the ones we have.
It's a
It's a
transit,
transit van that holds 9.
nine
Plus a
students. Yes.
Did we trade in one of the vans we already had?
Based on the last discussion about summer school transportation, we're holding on to the one van that it is replacing.
For right now, we have to have the van reevaluated, though it is an older van and it is high mileage, so I think some of our stipulations with it being used with it has to remain within the county.
I got a 67 car and it's still on
That's a little bit different. It hasn't been to Florida a few times.
The next question I have is check number 63132 for Frontline Technologies for $26,245. And I looked at, is this a new program that we're getting?
It was approved prior to last year.
And what all does this program do? Because I saw where
It helps.
one of the things that has in it is financial planning.
Yeah, it helps with the budget, and it's helping create a 5-year budget. We we didn't start the project until late October last year, so we still don't have a full accurate year of information in it yet. So we're still working on that. Once we are able to build more information in it, it will be able to provide us with a really better detail of more of a 5-year that we'll be able to put up for everyone to see, and we'll be able to play with it more and show, okay, if we do this kind of tax increase, how it affects 5 years, and how if we do no tax increase, how it affects for 5 years. We'll be able to show a lot more with it once we have a full year of stuff in it.
Am I reading it correctly where it's a yearly subscription for it for a little over $5,000?
Yes.
And I have one more question on check number 63227 for McCormick Law Firm. It looks to me like this invoice is from back August 13th, 2021.
I have to double check it.
That's the date that's on the invoice. And
Isn't that wasn't that one for something to do with,
That was a trust, wasn't it?
yeah, the trust?
yes, yes.
So I think that's when the services
Wells Fargo,
occurred.
the Wells Fargo one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's when it was started to work on.
And they're just now sending a bill for it.
Over the next 2 months, we will have bills that were from the beginning of last year. Yes. They're more common than what you think. That's why we don't close our books out right away, and none of our numbers can be even close to final because of the simple fact. And we even get bills into October, and some of them are from like October of the prior year. So it's not uncommon. I mean, we've had bills over 2 years old that we've received.
Well, that's over a year.
So,
Year old, so.
yeah.
That was just finalized, that's the Wells Fargo, that was, the First Community Foundation just received that check in, it was late May or early June. So that just recently closed out.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I have.
And the Wells Fargo account dealt with awards, graduation awards.
That's what I was
It was,
reading into,
yeah,
I
it was
guess.
established years ago, and it's over 250,000, I believe, and Wells Fargo didn't want to manage it anymore.
Okay.
So, wasn't enough for them.
So there's somebody else managing it? now?
First Community Foundation, so
Oh,
it's
okay,
local.
Okay, yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to do a roll call on that.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Dr. Beery?
Yes.
Dr. LaCroix?
Yes.
Dr. Mathers?
Yes.
Mr. Schimmel?
Yes.
Mr. Snell?
Yes.
Mr. Ulmer?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Okay, and other things we have going on. I wanted to touch base a little bit on some cafeteria food service stuff, because we are getting everything ready, and the direct certification files have all been uploaded and updated into our system. All the kindergarten kids have been added, the seniors were taken out. So we are currently at a 33.6, and that's all drug certification. That's our percentage for drug certification. There was questions about, getting that 40% so we could be community eligible. So a text alert will be going out later this week to parents requesting that they go on the school cafe and apply. We're encouraging all parents to apply, as changes have been made to income levels, and more families may qualify than what we've seen in the past. So we encourage all parents to go on and apply. Following after that, we will be sending the letters via email, and any parents we don't have email addresses for, they will be going out in the mail. So if you just spread the word that we need people to apply, if we can get over the 40% eligibility, the board had talked about, I think it was a couple months ago when Loyalsock was able to do it, then we could do free meals for everyone the following year. So, just spread that word there, and we're going to do our best to get that information out and see what we can get in. Also, the auditors had started. They spent a week here doing preliminary stuff, just reviewing stuff, going through our procedures, looking to see that the procedures were followed through, and they pulled some items to look at them. They'll be coming back later in October after the books are closed, because like we had talked about, we will receive several bills from over the next couple months that belong to last year, and we'll put those back into last year, so they are on last year's budget, and they will come back and finalize our audit in late October. Tyler training is going well right now. The data a lot of the data has been imported or put in. I want to thank Jess and the rest of the team. They have been doing a wonderful job in getting this ready. I wouldn't be able to do it without them. Jess has spent several hours, weekends, nights, working on getting it done, along with doing the rest of our job with real estate taxes and payroll and new employees and everything else going on right now. So I do want to thank everyone in the DO for all their hard work all summer. We have an amazing team. I couldn't have a better team, I don't think. They've really come together and shown, that they can get stuff together. They're working in the evenings, weekends, and like I said, I'm just very, very proud, and I couldn't be prouder of them. So that's all I have right now.
Randy, I have one question. Are the final numbers in for the cafeteria fund yet?
No.
Oh, they're not, okay.
Mm-mm. We saw some outstanding stuff there too.
All right.
Okay. They're closer.
Well, I knew that's probably one of the first ones you can
Yeah, I still have a few
finalize.
things. Yeah.
Thank you, Brandon. With that, then we'll move on now to the superintendent's report, and we'll start that by going around the room and seeing what the administration has going on. So, Mr. Myers.
All right, well, I want to say good luck to all the fall student athletes. It's good to see them out in the fields getting started. Our band and chorus numbers are really looking nice this year. We have about 50 band and chorus students in 5th grade, so almost half of our student population. So we're excited about that. We have a musical coming on this year that Ms. Burley will be prepping with her students. If you recall, last board meeting, Mrs. Aldebrando and Mrs. Beadle secured a $500,000 grant. We have training next week for Invention Land. Thank you, Mr. T, for your support of that. We have some teachers involved with that training, so to really secure the future innovators of our district. So excited about that. In-service dates 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Our Meet the Teacher open house is the 24th, 5:30, 6:30 for 5th graders, 6:30 to 7:30 for 6th, 7th, and 8th. And again, thank you to the maintenance and custodial staff for beautifying the McCall. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Farrar.
I'm never talking to him before a school board meeting again because he stole some of my ideas. I'll learn.
I can see right here.
Yeah, I checked to see on the phone, he's taking notes. I can hear his pencil going. But no, just the building's looking great, thanks to Joe and his crew, because it's ready for students. You know, and we're just finalizing the details. Excited to have the students back in the building, and hoping that the heat wave subsides. We've had enough summer. Let's start the fall temperatures here soon, but now we're about ready to go. And 23rd is our open house, Meet the Teacher night for both elementary schools, and just looking forward to a good year.
Okay. Okay. Over there, Mr. Hanner.
Yeah, during our last board meeting, we started talking about that at that time, just starting our trainings for QBS, Quality Behavior Solutions, as the de-escalation strategies, as well as physical management techniques. And this week, we are finishing the trainings for that. So finishing, we'll have 35 of our staff trained. That includes paraprofessionals, classroom and general education teachers, special education teachers, guidance counselors, our school psychologists, school nurses, as well as administrators. Each building will have a team of QBS certified staff that can respond to any situations involving our students that need de-escalating, as well as any kind of physical management techniques. We also have 5 staff that will be recertified in QBS strategies. In order to be recertified, a staff member has to have been trained within 1 year and 3 months. So we have 5 of our new employees coming on board that have come to us with that training. So they're going to go through research tomorrow for that. So along with that, we've had a lot of movement in our school district in terms of special education and 504 service agreements. We actually have had to date 8 students moved into our district with those supports in place. Then we've had 15 students moved out of our district with those supports in place. Looking at the upcoming in-service, some of the special education specific trainings that are going to be going on for our elementary staff, and it's all of our elementary staff. We actually have 2 folks coming in from the intermediate unit that will be training our staff. One will be on de-escalation strategies in general, not specific to QBS, but just in general strategies that can be used in their classrooms, as well as we'll be having staff trained in universal design for learning, which is looking at each of our students and being able to differentiate instruction to our students and their levels. This training, we weren't able to offer that to our secondary staff in August because of other things going on, so it is planned for the secondary staff to get that training in November. And I believe that's all I have this evening.
That sounds like a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, we're just doing the final tweaks. The schedules are pretty much done. Most of the meetings, the staff that have been willing to come in the summer and kind of hang out and talk a little bit and get a feel for things are kind of wrapping up. It's been a busy couple weeks. We spent some time with the magistrate the other day looking at how we can all sink our teeth into attendance because we know schools across everywhere are battling attendance issues and tardy issues. So we're working on some plans for that and tightening up on some protocols there. We have 9th grade orientation coming up on the 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. Working with Mr. Terramina and the rest of the admin team on some PD planning and what we're looking for this year and starting the school year with our staff. I do echo the band has been sounding good. We've been out there working and sweating and sweating and sweating. And it's nice to be able to park on the corner and hear them during the day and go out. Mr. Morgan's doing a good job with those folks. And then we got football rolling in for some heat acclimatization as well. Got to spend a few hours today at Penn College in a focus group about dual enrollment, looking at their offerings, how they can better serve our students and better serve industry and kind of work with districts in growing that program. And I know, again, Mr. T and I have talked about dual enrollment and how we can expand and look into that for our students and provide as many opportunities as possible, as well as some other partnerships with some co-oping. Again, huge thanks to our maintenance and custodial staff and the secretarial staff for the summer, keeping the wheels on and getting everything ready to go. More than that, I'm just chomping at the bit to get started and get the year rolling. And I do want to shout out to both Rhonda and Susan over there who have been doing internship hours as well for administrative stuff. They've been a huge help and a great sounding board and putting some miles on the keyboard, helping us out with some things as we get rolling with new ideas and trying some new things out and see what sticks and see how we can kind of move forward together. So just excited to get rolling.
Okay. And Mr. Assistant Superintendent?
I yield my time to the tech gentleman over there.
Oh, you
He's
well,
not getting off the hook.
We've got all of our smart boards up in place in K through 8, and we provided a training on those on the 3rd. That went well. We had that open up to all of our teachers K through 8. We also had a small group of our tech committee of teachers. They came in and they received a full day of advanced training on those. And then we'll have an additional training during our in-service on those as well. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to roll into those and be able to take off with those. Other than that, we're always working on our devices and our one-to-one program. The guys have been doing really well with those this summer, getting all of those collected and cleaned up and ready to go again for next year. And other than that, business as usual.
And he downplays the smart boards that the committee selected. They are a fantastic device that's going to be a great tool for our teachers. So they basically reported on everything. We're ready to go. Professional development schedule is set. We've got some trainings prior to school that have happened and will happen. We have the math pilot that will be starting. That training is next week. So a lot going on. A lot has happened. These folks have done a ton of work to get us ready for what's going to be a normal school year.
Good. Well, thank you all. With that, then, let's move on to the agenda items, and let me make note of a couple corrections. If you would turn to item P2, Shara Fisher. Strike that line item out. She withdrew her name for employment.
I'm sorry, I missed the number.
Shara Fisher, P2. Yeah. And then on P8, we have Lauren, the middle line, Lauren Caputo for special ed. She actually has a master's, and it would be at a salary of $54,284. And is that step 1 or 2?
Step 2.
That's step 2. Okay, so she's a master's, step 2 at $54,284. And that's it. Yeah. Okay. All right. And with that, if the board would consent, I'd like to put G1 through G4 together as a block. And if you want to take a moment and look at that, and then I'd like to have a motion on G1 through G4.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, we'll make G5 separate, approval for the substitutes, and you see that, the listing there. I separated it just in case anybody needed to abstain or whatever. We have a motion on G5.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Then would like to put G6 through G10 together. The board would consent to that. And give you a moment to look that over to see if there's any reason to separate anything.
There was a question
Oh,
about
yeah.
G10 having that separate. I don't know whether they're.
Okay, and you know, we'll flesh that out here as soon as we, as soon as we get a motion in a second, we'll flesh that out some more, so.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Dan, would you care to elaborate on the agreement with Luzerne County Community College?
Sure, G10, the Luzerne County Community College Agreement, that is a 5-year agreement that's up for renewal. That allows them to have field placements here in pre-K through 4, obviously not pre-K, but K through 4. And that's observations, something they call exploration. Even after reading the definition, I'm not sure what that is. Pre-student teaching and student teaching. So it's on the professional side of things, not the student side of things.
So this is them coming to us as
Yeah,
opposed to.
yeah, as student teachers. And I don't know if we've ever had somebody from there, but certainly with the shortage in teachers, we welcome any kind of help that we can provide to get teachers in the field. So that's why that's there.
Okay.
I have a question on G8. Is this program a new way to evaluate staff, something that we haven't used before?
We have not used, we've done paper and pencil in the past, basically. We've used computers, but some things have changed with staff evaluations, and this will streamline that for the administration and faculty.
And this is going to be a reoccurring cost
That's
year
correct.
after year.
That's correct.
When you say it streamlines, how so?
So the state changed evaluations through Act 13, where there's a lot of stuff that bounces back between the administrator and the teacher. This allows that to happen much faster and more meaningful. They've gotten rid of something called SLOs and goals. What are they now? SPMs. And that's going to be a lot more beneficial to our staff. They're going to get something out of it rather than just checking a box off saying I was evaluated. So it's going to help improve education. Really allows us to do PD year-round with staff.
So they're going to get more input with this program?
Teachers will get more input on how they're evaluated, correct? And it's gonna make us all get out more too and be in classrooms. So that's the goal of it.
Any other questions?
I have a
If I'm not
question.
wrong, it doesn't the program also, like you talked about, professional development for them, like they help offer to train teachers on, hey, this is more information about how you're evaluated, and that doesn't offer.
Yeah, I mean, we have to train them on Act 13 because it does impact how they are evaluated.
But that company helps provide that, correct, Matt? You
Yeah,
work with
there is training. I've worked with it for the last several years in Rural SOC, and one of the other components of that is in the evaluation box itself where that all is contained, it allows us to also attach resources through PD SAS, the standalone system there, that then can provide additional opportunities for PD that they can self-select on their own too. So the conversational nature of where evaluations are, I will say it does make it a lot easier and more meaningful and allows for a much deeper dialogue.
Okay. I have a question on G6. I like that the iReady classroom mathematics, I looked at it online, but the cost, it says $315,000 for this next school year. The email we got from Mrs. Basin says that this will cover us, it's purchased for 7 years?
Correct.
Starting next year?
Yeah, this covers the pilot for this coming year, and then the following 7 years.
So it covers the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's any updates, any material changes, they provide that for the 7 years.
Okay.
I've never seen a company do that. Like I said, they change their textbook, would update it, they'll send us a new textbook, all covered by this cost. This covers student materials for the next 7 years.
They did not want to go beyond 5. We got them to do 7, and most of the pilot is thrown in. We're paying for the professional development in the pilot, basically.
Okay. Any other questions?
Oh, and that 7 years doesn't start until?
Fully implemented. So
Right.
next 23, 24
Right.
school year. 22, 23 is the pilot.
Okay, hearing no more questions, then all in favor of G6 through G10, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. This finishes the Gs. I guess we're on to the personnel now. If it's okay with the board, I'd like to put P1 through P5 together. Does that sit well with you all? Fairly straightforward personnel issues. So if that's suitable, P1 through P5, we have a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And for P6, we'll separate that, we'll make that separate. Approval of the mandated safety and security coordinator position as is listed. Naming Mr. Myers at that stipend of $4,000 for that mandated position. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Then on to P7, the stipend regarding the summer school. What's the board's flavor on that?
Mr. Schindler, I'd like to table that motion.
We have a motion to table. I think I think there was some interest in some more information earlier. So we have a motion to table. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any other questions on that? Need some more information, I believe. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And moving on to the next page of personnel items. The board's okay with this. I'd like to put P8 through P10 together. P8 through P10. I'll take a moment to peek at that.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions?
All I want to say is, I think for the short time that Jamie Youngkin was here, I think he did a great job.
Yeah.
And hopefully our replacement will do as good a job as Jamie did.
Okay, yep, Jamie did a good job for us. He did. And we're kind of trading people here, you know. It's one we take one, they take one from us, you know.
That's the environment we're in.
Okay. Yeah, poaching. Is that what that is? Okay. P8 for P10. We have a motion and a second.
Motion to approve.
Oh, did? I think we did that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we did that. I'm the one that forgets that usually, Ron.
I'm going to approve it again.
All right. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And let's.
And Mrs. Computer.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you.
They've done a fantastic job for us, so we're excited to bring them on, on a full-time basis. They've done a great job for us.
We'll move now to the supplemental P11 and P12. So we'll look at P11 first, approval of an addition to the support staff. We have a motion on P11. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And P12, approval of the addition to the administrative team, our elementary principal for the Valley, Mr. Tyler Blaze, who is here with us. Do we have a motion to approve him as a replacement for Mr. Youngkin?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Would you like, Tyler, do you want to come forward and we'll let him talk to us instead of us asking a question? How's that?
How are you all doing tonight? Hopefully you're cooling down a little bit. I know I'm got to sit and cool down a little bit, so thank you for that. As you already know, my name is Tyler Blaze, and I first want to thank all of you for approving me to be to have the opportunity to be the next principal of Loyalsock Valley Elementary.
Tyler, we didn't vote yet.
Oh,
so
God.
Be careful there.
Oh, God. Well, that's embarrassing.
That's a psychological.
I'm trying to mess with you. But honestly, I wanted to give you all a little background on my of what I've done in my 9 years in education. A little bit of history where I grew up too. So I grew up in upstate New York, in the Adirondack Mountains. I lived there my whole entire life. Graduated from high school, and then I went to the State University of New York at Plattsburgh State. Not to be confused with your PSU. But so I graduated there in 2013, in spring of 2013. Could not find a job, teaching job in New York because they want you to have 10 years of experience, and I didn't have that. So I actually ended up on the Eastern Shore of Virginia in 2013 as a elementary school teacher, 3rd grade. I taught 3rd grade for 1 year, made my move the following year to 5th grade for 2 years. As I started teaching 5th grade, I started coaching football at the high school, one of our high schools. So I was an assistant varsity coach, and I was the head coach of the JV team. So I was going back and forth between that, and I decided to throw my hat into getting my master's degree in educational leadership. So doing so, juggling all three of those, it was a kind of a heartache for me with coaching football because I'd get up there a little bit later because the elementary school was let out. So I made the move to middle school, 8th grade history position, civics and economics. I did that for 2 years as well. I finished out my master's degree. When I finished my master's degree, I applied for an assistant principal position at Montoyaville High School, which is also in my district. I interviewed that following July. I was very fortunate enough to be able to become the assistant principal. I've been there for the last 4 years, through COVID, through everything. Worked super hard. This past July, I was promoted to be the principal of Chincoteague Elementary School. I don't know if anybody's ever vacationed down to Chincoteague Island, Virginia. Beautiful place, very small. There was 242 kids in the whole entire school. So, like I said, I was very fortunate to have that position offered to me. But my lovely wife that I met 9 years ago when I moved to the Eastern Shore of Virginia is a Montoursville high school graduate. We have 2 beautiful children. My daughter's 4. She'll be 4 at the end of the month, and my son is 2. And we had many conversations about coming back up to Pennsylvania because we love it here. And I know Montoursville, just being around for 9 years, talking to her, this is a great place, this is a great opportunity for job growth, for my family in general. So that's why we are enticed to come back here. And I applied for the high school position, didn't get it, and got a phone call. So hopefully, if everything goes well here, you all will give me the opportunity to be the next principal at the Valley. And I just want to let you all know on a serious note, I am super dedicated to what I do. I love working with children. I love working with adults. My goal is to make everybody better each and every single day because I know that when I was in elementary school, I had a teacher that affected me big time, kind of made me realize, hey, people do care about you. So I know I go out there every day and I try to make a difference, not just children, but adults as well, and try to get everybody to be as best as they can be. So I hope I can live up to Mr. Youngkin and do a fantastic job. And longevity, I'm here. I told my wife we're not moving anymore, so plus 2. So thank you all. I look forward to working with you all, hopefully.
Okay. On that note, if he convinced you, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right,
Mr. Blaze, set your alarm. See you tomorrow morning. If I may, on hiring, we've had a lot of positions to fill in the district, and as you watch the news and hear the horror stories of the shortage, it's real. This team here has done a fantastic job in filling these positions we've had. We are down to, we still have to fill 2 paras. We have a part-time music at the Valley we need through December, and I hope this is our only August surprise. We have a full-time math at the high school we need to fill, which someone in the room is very confident that we're going to be able to fill prior to the start of school. And with the amount of openings we had, this team did an amazing job in getting those filled, and we're just about fully staffed to start the year. Pretty confident we'll get there. So kudos to everybody that sat in on. Seemed like we were interviewing every single week this summer, but we got the job done. We have become appealing once again, a good place for people to come and work. We maybe aren't as competitive in salary, but we're in the right direction in terms of what we do educationally and how we care about kids that helped us fill these positions. So thank you, everybody, for getting those positions filled. And we got a little bit more to do, but it's the shortage is real, but we're hanging in. So thank you.
Our Mike has given up on us, but that's the one that counts. That's the one that goes out. Okay, all right, we'll speak loudly then. All right, let's move on now to policies. I hope you all enjoyed this reading. Hope you didn't start too late at night. PY1 is the approval of the second and final readings for the policies as you see listed there. And take a motion on approval of those second and final readings.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Any need for clarification?
On policy 123.1, I believe it's the one, I'm looking for it now, but there was a wording that said report in a timely manner, and I'm not comfortable with report in a timely manner. I think it should be, I think there should be a time there instead of being open and vague by saying report in a timely manner. And I'm looking for it now.
Is it something that the superintendent will report in?
Yes, yes. And I brought it up. I brought it up the last time we went out. And Dave, if you remember, when I brought it up, you kind of said that you said something to the effect of leaving things vague, and that's what makes me uncomfortable.
Wonder, do we have an administrative regulation that would go with it, that would actually have the time frame, do you know? That's probably a question that would need to, okay. I'm looking at 123.1, I can't
see that.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't
mean,
There's one of the other ones.
There's a whole stack here,
Yeah.
so it's hard to find, but just policy, what is it, 103, that's another one. I mean, when you're talking about sexual harassment of students, what is a timely manner? I think that,
I don't think those things are in 122.1 or 123.1.
Well, it doesn't look, looking at 22.1 and 23.1, I don't see,
well, see, that's,
I don't see a reporting in either in those. I suspect it's in one of the other ones, the first readings. I'll bet.
Yeah, I don't see it.
when are these policies required to be, changed?
Are you talking 122.1 and 123.1?
Yeah, well, I'm not even sure that's the two right
Because
now.
we're on the second reading of those.
Yeah,
And I don't recall anything being brought up about those.
And they don't appear to have any reporting, so it's got to be one of the first readings.
it was the one we already had the first reading on, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
About drug and alcohol or conviction.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know what reporting would be in those that.
Dan, do you know when these policies, 122.1 or 123.1 needs to be approved?
Preferably before the start of the school year. That was the timing on this, because if there's an infraction, the big change in that was the matching up so that everybody had an SAP referral, whether it was sports or extracurriculars. And there's no additional reporting because you're dealing with the student assistance program, and that's all confidential.
Yeah, there's only about 50 pages to go through here to find it.
No, and Ron,
Not-
I
not
was
in-
looking it over.
Well, no,
the
we're only doing 122.1 and 120.
I know.
I just read through the whole thing and I don't see
Yeah,
anything.
I'm not-
I noticed
I
that,
don't
Ron,
see those words at all.
They're not in.
Was it taken out from the first reading?
Nope.
Maybe you're thinking of a different policy that we haven't gotten back to us yet for a second reading.
No, it had to do with I'm pretty sure it had to do with controlled substances or criminal activity.
See, OneDrive, I can't get the OneDrive quick enough.
I'll let it go, and if I find it at a later date,
Yeah, we can
always do a policy change.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I suspect there's probably, that does occur in the next batch, and we can make note, and I guess refer those to policy committee to review those for something a little more specific than a generic timely manner, so.
See, I was concerned that the wording said, report the incident in a timely manner. Well, timely manner to one person isn't the same as it is to another person.
And that certainly sounds like something that would be in the next batch. with they deal with conduct and misbehavior and all that, the sexual assault and all those things, so I can leave it in there.
Yeah, no, I know I read that this afternoon, Ron.
Yeah.
I found everything else I heard.
Well, if you're okay, you're okay, Ron, we can approve the second reading if the board's satisfied to do that, and then we'll pay a little more attention on the first readings and may highlight that about the timely issue. So if there's no other questions on PY1, all in favor of approving those policies as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, on to PY2, and there we have all of them. And Joe, if you would take it upon yourself to look through those after this first reading to see where that issue is with timely reporting and see if we can plug in a time frame. But anyway, are we good with moving forward with the first reading on all of those policies? I spent about 4 hours. How many did you spend? I thought it'd be quicker. No way, it wasn't. It took time. One of the things I noticed too is the existing policy was sometimes tacked with the proposed, and a couple of times I caught myself thinking, oh wait, but that's existing. Well, I need to find the proposed first reading. So that made it a little bit more work too. So do we have a motion to approve the first reading?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and we have the input from Ron on something a little better than timely, and see if we can come up with frameworks. And Joe, would you identify the places those occurred for us? Maybe send us an email and just say, hey, here's which policy has timely, and what do we think would be a more appropriate time frame? And then in the second reading, I believe we can plug in time frames then.
Right. Sue, you remember reading that, correct?
I do, and I circled it in my little highlighter, and I don't see it now.
Oh.
Because I thought I wanted a maximum of whatever 1 week. I wanted.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I can save you some time, Joe, and do a find.
That would be great.
In documents.
Yeah, I was just wanting to see if I can do that.
And I will send that out.
Sounds good.
Because that's going to be some
I'm
time.
pretty sure it said timely, aren't you, Ron? That was the phrase. That was the.
Yeah, the way it was worded was reported in a timely manner. And if I remember right, it was to report it to the superintendent in a timely manner. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it was reported in a timely manner.
Okay. Board, if you're okay with that caveat that we want to take in the second reading, we want to have some more defined information to put in there. If you're okay with that, how we'll approach a second reading, would you be willing to approve the first reading on these? And if there's no other questions, I think I'll ask all in favor of this first reading with our caveat, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, thank you for that work, and more work to come on those. All right, now we're on to transportation. Item T1, approval of a school bus driver aid list. And we have one addition to that. Do we have a motion for that approval?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions on that first one, T1? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. And then T2, approval of the Promised Land busing rates in the amounts of $1643.86 and $1874.20 for July 2022. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. And that completes our agenda. And we'll move on now to other reports, and I'll ask our Vice President to walk us through those other reports.
Okay, for PSBA, I just shared a handout with everyone, and I sent you an email to the link of the Act 55, I think don't quote me on that now, I can't remember the number. Is it Act 55 of 2022 where they made several changes to the school code? And I was like, it's a long document, but what I gave you tonight just kind of summarizes what you need to know on different things that have changed, and kudos to administration for having to keep up with all of these different regulations. It's a lot to know, the school code itself, but just FYI, if you want some reading, and if questions come up as to why we're doing things differently, it's a regulation from the state. Policy Committee.
Nothing to report at this time. Did you get answers yet for us?
You're not that quick. Okay, IU?
They did not meet in July.
No meeting. LCTC.
Well, the LCTC met on July 21st. It pretty much like tonight, hiring people, and we hired a new construction trades instructor and approving handbooks and policies, and actually received the auditor's report last month, and the tentative enrollment is right now is 359, which is very, very healthy. It will go down by the time school starts, but at this time of the year, it's pretty high. So that's no. I note that we met on July 21, but I believe earlier I said our executive session was July 21. Madam Secretary, would you correct the record when you find out when the executive session really was? We met for the board, just the board met. You weren't there. Oh, you don't know, okay, all right. All right. Was it the
I remember not being there.
Weren't you there? You were there, weren't you?
July 27th.
27th, thank you, David, thank you. I have July 27th, we met for that executive session. All right. Okay, yeah, I'm good.
Oh, good. Mr. Ulmer, Memorial Gardens.
Fundraising continues to progress, I think, very well. At our meeting 2 weeks ago, we were at a point of raising $84,000, which puts us in a position to go ahead and schedule the work for the walkway. We're looking at September to start that work. Coming up next week, the hemlock hedges on the east and west borders will be removed. We're hoping maybe to get a little publicity for the site on that day. We will meet tomorrow. We've been meeting every 2 weeks as a committee, and Randy will be giving us an update on our fundraising at that point.
Oh, do we have any additional fundraising blurbs or anything to get more people involved? Any activities?
There's a car show.
Yes.
Steel Wheels,
Steel Wheels Car Show in September.
September 18th.
The Memorial Gardens has been designated as
No,
The 18th.
yeah.
they'll be contributing a certain portion of their proceeds, to the fundraising effort. And we've been continuing to reach out to individual donors that members of the committee have been meeting on a regular basis. Again, hoping to continue to move that fundraising goal upward.
Thank you. Anything on budget?
No.
Anything on Montoursville Foundation?
Yes. Fundraising event scheduled in November, I think it's the 9th. It's backyard barbecue, it'll be at Herman and Luther's. Hopefully information about that will be coming out within the month or so.
What was the date on that then?
I think it's the 9th
Of
November.
November. Okay.
But don't quote me on that, I forgot to write it down. No, it's written down, but I didn't bring that with me tonight.
Okay. Mr. Albert, Building and Grounds?
Nothing.
And Mr. Badger's not here for extracurricular.
Okay, with that then we'll move on to the second public comment section of the meeting, and invite all those who are here, if they'd like to come forward and give you 3 minutes to talk to us, whatever's on your mind about the district.
Yeah, I see where Linda Kaiser retired or something. I don't know anything, if anybody, the last few meetings, I don't know anybody say anything good about her, but she was great. I know her brother Ron, and he was a real good basketball player for Warrior Run. And also I saw where, we've been pretty good with superintendents that graduated from Montoursville, or other people like Eric Briggs that worked here. And now we got, I think, 3 superintendents, one at Jersey Shore, one at Montoursville, and one at, that was at Lewisburg, Matt DeRocco, or Mark DeRocco. And I talked to a lady down there, and she says things haven't really been the same down there since he left. They had 2 lady superintendents, and things did not go over well. I mean, she didn't get into it. I didn't care what, and that was her opinion. But I don't know. But I mean, Lewisburg is, with the Bucknell and so on down there. And also, I brought a picture of, not a picture, but a thing that listed all the intermediate units. And I gave it to the secretary at the office, and I want to know if anything has come about that picture. Huh?
Sorry, Jack.
What?
Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. Definitely all right. Woke me up. No, the intermediate unit. I listed all the intermediate units. I don't know what it proves, but it came from Lewisburg, so it must be good. And I just wondered what has become of the picture, or the thing that listed all the intermediate units. I'm not even sure if I know what an intermediate unit is, but whatever. I mean, if it came from Lewisburg, it had to be good, I would think. But like I said, they went through 2 superintendents, and they weren't up to snuff. And at least the person told me they weren't up to snuff, and they left. And they haven't had a good one since Mark DeRocco was there. And so whatever. I don't know if I have anything else. No, I don't. And oh yeah, I was saying, if you like Saturday afternoon football, Southside is playing Canton at Canton on their one Saturday afternoon game. I wish we'd get a Saturday afternoon game here in Montoursville, but I mean, for whatever reasons that we cannot get one. But day football was really the thing when I was in that. We had temporary lighting that they would put up and that, but day football was the thing, and everybody loved it. I mean, you could, and they packed them in over there at the old, the old stadium and that, and whatever. Yeah, and I just saw that about Linda, and I don't really know her. I talked to her when she did the class play out here towards the end a couple of years ago, I guess, and yeah, she's a good person. So I don't know. I don't know if she got another position or went someplace else or whatever. It's probably none of my business, but I just wondered if somebody did something good. I think that she should be recognized. You recognize somebody else that said he did a good work job, and I would think she did a good work job too.
Okay, thanks, Jack. Not seeing anybody else approaching the podium, we'll close the second public comment section. And board, is there anything else for the good of the order? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.